Good. I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Enthusiasm, because people want to see crime stop. They want to see a country that's respected. Think of it. If I were president, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine, where it never happened. Zero chance. You wouldn't have had October 7th of Israel. You wouldn't have the horrible withdrawal. And I don't mean the withdrawal, because the withdrawal was fine. I was ready to withdraw from Afghanistan, and we were going to do it with dignity and strength. And we were keeping our equipment. We weren't leaving $85 billion worth of equipment behind. And we wouldn't have had 13 great soldiers. I know the families of those soldiers well. We wouldn't have had your soldiers killed. And we wouldn't have had 45 soldiers obliterated. No legs, no arms, the face. None of that would have happened. And you wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had any inflation, because inflation was caused by their bad energy problems. Now they've gone back to the Trump thing because they need the votes. I don't know if you know, they're drilling now because they had to go back because gasoline was going up to $7, $8, $9 a barrel. So they said, we better do what Trump. But the day after the election, if they won, you're going to have fuel prices go through the roof. Everybody's going to be forced to buy an electric car, which they're not going to do because they don't want that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really a sub-market. People want gasoline-propelled cars. They want hybrids. They want to have everything, and they want electric. But they want everybody to have an electric car. We don't have enough electricity. We couldn't make enough electricity for that.
A Hollywood actor has been arrested on sexual assault charges, and detectives are now looking for more victims. Police in Los Angeles say Gabriel Olds used his experience in the film industry to lure women. He's accused of raping several of them. Olds starred in numerous films and TV shows, including Party of Five and NCIS.
Time now for your Thursday weather.
I don't even know who the hell Olds is. What's going on, family? Welcome to another exciting edition of Random Topics Thursdays, the hottest live stream here in the cosmos of YouTube social media, which also includes Rumble and X. Wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. If you're watching on Gboo2786 or Gavin Richard, as you know, YouTube has us on a shadow ban, and I know we have some new viewers, but I need you right now to smash up the likes, hit the share and subscribe button. I need you to also, please make sure you hit the notification bell so that when we're live, you know that we are live, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, I'm coming at you with 5. We are going to get started with it. Yeah, that was a good way to end it off. But you know, electric cars run on batteries, and it's hard enough even maintaining those cars, which are very expensive. This part is true. And Lord knows if you get caught in a winter blizzard, if you up north, they're useless. But that is true. Shout out, did I see Makia Major? I saw her. Shout out to her. I haven't seen you in a while, sister. How you doing? We got some people. I need you all to go to Rumble as well and go to the Random Topics page. We're on live there now. If you can, open a new tab, and I'm going to actually show you what you can do. You can go to this new tab. I'm sharing the screen right now and subscribe to the Rumble. Just go right to where my mouse is and say Random Topics, 4 exclamation points. Make sure you're following so when we go live, you know we're live. And matter of fact, we were getting this thing started. So yep, we are live on the channel. So yeah, make sure y'all go in there, hit that like button, because as you know, YouTube, or as I call it, ScrewTube, has been messing with this channel for months, years on end. The last 3.5 years have been going through a battle. Make sure you do that. Also, you love me for my time, pay me for my time. Being that we're shadow banned and demonetized, if you all would like to contribute to the program, if you would like to donate to the Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal, the ticker is at the bottom. Hold on, let me move this. That's the Rumble page there, Random Topics. So make sure you're going there and smashing up a like, and you'll also click that following button. So when we go live, we'll actually just jump into it. So I need y'all to go there. I need y'all to go there now, please. The debate is on. Random Topics. Just put that in the search. Go there. Like. And look, my family on X. I'm asking you to do the same. I'm asking you, if you don't know the X channel, my channel where we go live on X, I'm actually going to share with you the X page in the comment section so y'all can follow me and go that way. I'm going to put it in the comment section. That way y'all can follow me. We're going to be waiting for Sean in a little bit. But as you all know, of course, the big thing is the debate is on. Donald Trump held a press conference earlier today where he says he has agreed to debate the Vice President, Kamala Harris. Former President Trump agreed to debate the Veep September 10th. I think there's also another date they're going to do a debate on, which I can't wait to wait. I can't wait because that is going to be fire. And, you know, they did debate at Switch with the American people on this, where she gets to, where he debated Joe Biden and eviscerated. I'm being fair, he eviscerated Joe Biden, but now he has Miss Harris, Vice President Harris, Kamala Harris, to debate. And that's going to be a sight to see. Right. That Tesla is expensive. They're not cheap. They are not cheap at all. Yeah. September runs in my family. My father and grandfather were September babies. So is my nephew. My nephew was born September 20th. My dad, September 24th. My granddad, I think, was September 4th, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. Rest in power, Grandpa. We're just waiting for Sean to come in, but there's just been this whole, we're being bombarded, and we're going to talk about that tonight, guys. Black men prepare for a civil war. Now, I don't mean that to say that I endorse violence or violent stuff is going to happen, but they do this every election year, but especially now in 2024 with Vice President Harris being the nominee, there is going to be an intense, it's already started, shaming practice by these Democratic shields, as well as others, into voting for the vice president. There's going to be a shaming tactic, and I'm going to give you my proof of what I'm talking about. And you already know, and I'm not just talking about the boule birds they got out here, like Roly Poly Martin. Get your ass up and leave and vote for Kamala. No, not just talking about that. They are starting a campaign. Remember 2020? Get your booties to the polls. Remember 2022? There was no voting, no vucking. I didn't say the F word, but that was the actual song Trina and Saucy Santana did. Oh my God, I'm still got cringes over that. They were doing, and let's not forget you had get your booty to the polls in 2020. So we have been bombarded and are being bombarded with this assault on our ears to go and vote blue, no matter who. The brother TD Hip Hop was talking about it, and I don't know if y'all know this, but Kai Cenat even was talking about how Kamala Harris, the vice president, and her people was contacting him to go and vote to get Kamala Harris on the streaming content. I think Kai Cenat is like the biggest streamer. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world. Now, I don't even follow him that much. I know he's on Twitch, and people know a lot about that. I don't follow it, but I've heard of his name, and I know he's very popular in the world from what I've seen. And I think he's done stuff with who's the rapper he's appeared with? Is it Nicki Minaj? I could be wrong, but he does a lot of stuff. He's very popular. I think the young brother has how many people on? How many followers? Hold on. So there's an attack that's coming, and I'm going to show this, but I'm trying to look up something. Hold on. So Kai Cenat, I'm just going to look on X how many subscribers he has. But it looks like when I type this in, so yeah, I just saw this. This is a 17-second clip. Shout out to brother TD Hip Hop because he showed this. Sean's on his way. So it's not 8 o'clock yet. I decided to get started a little early to show some videos, but there's language in here. Hold on. So he said he's been contacted by the Secret Service 5 times in which to bring on Vice President Harris. So hold on. I'm going to play this. Hold on. This is funny, by the way. Fucking Secret Service calling me 5 times, nigga! I don't know goddamn shit about politics, my nigga. I don't know nothing. I don't know shit. I don't know not a goddamn thing, my nigga. Fucking Secret Service calling me 5 times, nigga! I don't know goddamn shit about politics, my nigga. I don't know nothing. I don't know shit. I don't know not a goddamn thing, my nigga. Fucking Secret Service calling me 5 times. Now, I'm looking at this. The brother appears to be in some type of U-Haul truck. He actually wrote, there's an article from Fox New York that says Kai Cenat. Now, his parents are from the Caribbean. So he's father from Haiti. His mother's from the Trinidad and Tobago. But he supposedly is homeless, living in a New York shelter, in New York City in a U-Haul. And he gets paid $3 million annually. And he was charged with inciting a riot in Union Square. Yeah, y'all look at this. Now, I'm not trying to shame the man. That's not why I'm doing it. But I just saw it was interesting. He's getting paid $3 million annually, and he's living in a truck, a U-Haul truck. Now, sometimes when people, I don't know what his deal is or what's set up on that situation, I just see he's doing this. That looks like it's a U-Haul truck. But damn, what How does that happen? I don't know if he has a deal. He says a lot has been going behind the scenes that I can't tell y'all. So I'm not gonna shame the man. That's not what I'm here for. But this is another thing, and I'm guessing, I don't know, but please, people, especially in the world of the internet, especially when you become a millionaire, when you're young, make sure you know the deals that you're signing. Get an attorney to represent you so that you're not selling your soul when you're doing this. Now, I don't know again what happened in his situation, but please be careful when you got money and you got followers. So let me put my music back on. But we're gonna get started a little bit, y'all. And before I get started, of course, we got to do our little thing, which I always love, which is the countdown. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. I have to do those things. Look, let's go ahead. Please, please, please drop something in the Cash App. Support a brother. We're going to get started in a minute. I see that my guest has arrived. Before we begin, I do want to share with y'all this piece of video footage that we're going to do. So this was from earlier. So this is the video I have. This is from earlier. Trump agreed to debate Vice President Harris. So hold on.
Those networks, they're very anxiously awaiting that date and those dates. So we have September 4th, September 10th, and September 25th. We have spoken to the heads of the network, and it's all been confirmed, other than some fairly minor details. Audience, some location, which city would we put it into, but all things that will be settled very easily. I think it'll be very easy. So I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I hope she agrees to them. September 4th, September 10th, September 25th. And I think they'll be very revealing.
They're always going to be revealing because ABC News is going to be rude. They'll be revealing how rude they are. And I wonder if they're going to use that girl from NABJ, from National Blowjob Association. I don't know what it's National Association of Black Journalists. The National Association of Blowjob. I'm sorry, man. I had to say that. Let's go in and bring our brother, Sean James. Sean is the author of The Man Crisis as well as The Woman Crisis and the John Haynes series. And Sean, good evening. It's been a while since I've last seen you.
Good evening, Gavin. How are you?
All right. I'm doing fine, man. How has life been? I know you've been busy, so why don't you go ahead and give a plug in?
All right. The books of the SJS Direct 2024 catalog are now available in paperback and digital format on Amazon.com and other online booksellers. And you can pick up all three of those books, John Haynes' Illuminati, ISIS, Dark Incubus, and Esteem Horror in the Hamptons, at your favorite online bookseller today.
And you can also pick up my book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby, on Amazon Kindle, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and buy that book. Sean, I haven't seen you in a while. I know you've been busy. A lot has transpired, I think, in the last few weeks since you haven't been here. Of course, we know that President Joe Biden, has stepped down as for the 2024 Democratic nomination and has surrendered it to his vice president, Kamala Harris. As well as her, she has a nominee, Tim Walz, to be the vice president. I think I'll just start. What do you make of the switch?
Well, I think the switch is nothing but desperation from the Democratic Party. They know they had a lemon in a candidate in Joe Biden, but they thought they could slip him by. And now that they're jammed up, they basically have to use Kamala Harris because of the Constitution. And at this point, they're basically jobbing the entire election based on the vice presidential candidate. So they basically know this election cycle is toast, and they've basically given up at this point.
They've basically given up at this point. And you feel that, let me ask you, do you think there's going to be any type of change in voters' minds from the Democratic side? Do you think the same people that were going to vote for Biden are going to vote for the Vice President Harris?
I don't think they're going to vote for Vice President Harris based on her terrible record. And I don't think that people are going to be swayed either way. I mean, Harris is a worse candidate than Hillary Clinton. She's a worse candidate than Walter Mondale. She's a worse candidate than Michael Dukakis. And you would have to be a special brand of stupid to think that she's a better candidate in any way, shape, or form. She's an absolutely terrible candidate. But what they're trying to do is slap lipstick on a pig and tell you that it's a beautiful woman. But the whole thing is they know they've got a lemon of a candidate. And this candidate basically is one that they're just trying to hope they can sell to enough black voters in the hopes that they may sway the polls. But the whole thing is they basically know with many of their core bases, this candidate just isn't one that can work for them.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I see we got my other guest has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to him. I haven't seen this brother in a little while, and he has a show. Brother Bernard. Brother Bernard, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing, Sean?
I'm all right, Bernard. How are you?
Welcome. So, Bernard, I asked you the same question. Just curious, do you think this is going to change voters' minds? Because think about it, and here's my gentleman, 18 million people voted for Joe Biden in the primary. Kamala Harris didn't even won Vice President Harris never even won the primary. She didn't win any primary. And this was put on them. And now she has the nomination very quickly. So, Bernard, I asked you the same thing. Do you think this is going to change voters' minds?
No, and as a matter of fact, a lot of voters are starting to find out through Article 1, Section 5 that Miss Harris isn't even eligible to run because her parents are British subjects when they came here. So first of all, that's the first part. It's about the Constitution. She's not even eligible. She's just like Ted Cruz. He won't eligible to run neither. All right, that's one point. Number two, not Kai Cenat. The support for Kamala Harris is fake anyway. Look. You just had a woman just come out and say they've been here $3,000 to $10,000 to drum up hate online and say things, like the stuff they're doing. They said, don't talk about, if you talk about Project 25, only talk about the fear monger. Don't read the policy. Just tell the people that you be scared of Project 2025. So a lot of Kamala Harris support is actually fake. Now, I want to say this. I do not think that the people will vote for Kamala Harris because of some fact of just like she did in Michigan yesterday when she told the guy, if you don't want to vote for me, basically told him vote for Donald Trump and basically told him, shut up, I'm speaking. Basically. All right.
Well, I played that video earlier.
But I will say this. Your shields like Charlamagne, Dale Hughley and stuff are writing things on their Twitter page, things you niggas need to know before you vote. I'm
going to get to that point, but yeah, don't spoil that. But I'm going to show everybody that in a minute. But I do want to just push back one comment you made that she's not eligible because she's a British subject. the way the Constitution works to qualifications for the presidency, you have to be 35. This is it here. You have to be 35 years old. It's not what you say is not exactly accurate. That is true that yes, you have to be born in the United States. You have to be at least 35 and you have to be a resident of the United States for 14 years. Given the fact that she was born in California and the fact that now she's 60 years old, obviously living in the United States for over, she was a senator in 2012, and before that, the AG. She would qualify. And that's also through the 14th Amendment, because as you know, once you're born here, you're given the rights, and that was what the 14th Amendment was done to give black people, and we can debate whether she's black or not, is another issue, but I've talked about that before and I've gotten arguments with people and I don't care, but yeah, she would qualify. Now, do I think she is now?
She grew up in Canada now.
She grew up in Canada, but she was born in the United States. She was born in California. So even if you're born in California, now if she renounced her citizenship of some sorts, yeah. But then she comes back, right? But then she comes back to America and becomes district attorney, becomes the district attorney, becomes the AG of California, district attorney of Frisco, and then becomes a U.S. senator and then vice president. So, yeah. Now
she's not. She renounced us. I tell you that.
Yeah. She said she's not going to do anything she said in 2020 that she's not going to sit up here and do only thing. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm just going to only do something for black people. So
she said she's a South Asian. That's what she told that girl in the cooking video. I mean, South Indian, whatever. South Asian.
You're talking about Mindy Kaling. Yeah. She said she's Indian. She's identified. So what Trump was saying wasn't a lie. She had always been identifying with that. And people have posted the videos, the news articles, although they've tried to scrub them. A lot of people have posted it on their channels and shown what she said. So, but Sean, I'm going to ask you this, especially, did you see the National Association of Black Journalists?
No, I didn't see that entire thing, but I find it interesting there were no black men among those journalists.
No, there were no black men, and that's something that me and Judge, we were showing everybody Thursday. That was the most telling of that. You had 3 women on there. The one who was the most aggressive, Miss Scott, Rachel Scott, she's not only a member of ABC News, she's a member of, she's an AKA, which is the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, which is the girls in pink, the Chucks and Pearls is what they were going to do for Vice President Harris in 2020. And they're starting up again. But that's a Soros sister. Now, I've told y'all before, there are white people that join these black fraternities and sororities. You know that?
Yep.
Yeah. I give you one example. Hubert Humphrey. Hubert Humphrey, former vice president of the United States under Lyndon Baines Johnson, who ran against Richard Nixon in 1968, was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. Now, that's Hubert Humphrey. Now, Alpha Phi Alpha is the oldest black fraternity in the country. If I'm not mistaken, W.E.B. Du Bois was an Alpha. I could be wrong. I believe he is. I know this was Dr. King's fraternity. I know it was also Andy Young, Maynard Jackson, Mark Morial, who was the mayor of New Orleans. His father was the first black mayor of New Orleans, Dutch Morial. He was also Alpha. They have Omega Psi Phi and so forth. And look, a lot of white people go to the HBCUs because it's more cost affordable. My HBCU, Southern University, and my law center, Southern University Law Center, that was, they have about 47% of whites that go there. Why? It's more cost affordable.
Well, that's interesting.
It's more cost affordable. Mike Foster, who was Mike Foster went there. Mike Foster was the Republican governor of the state of Louisiana, and he got his law degree from an HBCU. I was never a fan of Mike Foster. Mike Foster was giving money, and Mike Foster gave money to David Duke. Foster had ties to Duke, the Klansman. He paid over $150,000 for his mailing list of supporters and didn't report it as a campaign expenditure. Most people don't know that. I'm at the screen looking at it. Hold on. So yeah, that's Mike Foster. That's Mike Foster. He's deceased. But yeah. But yeah, there were no black men on this, but I'm going to play a little bit of the conference, just Sean, so you can see it and comment. And Bernard, you can comment if you want, but I'm going to play just the first part. I've done a whole video on it, but just the first part of the panel. Now, keep in mind, and Bernard, I'm sure you know this. Do you know that on that panel, it was running late?
Yeah, I know about it. Yeah.
For like 40 minutes. So that's that's not a professional way to start. Whether you like Trump or not, do y'all think she would be this aggressive if it was Joe Biden?
Doubt it.
Decades-long
Watch.
tradition.
That's Rachel
during
Scott.
election.
That's Harris Faulkner. And this sister, her name is on the tip of my tongue. Let me see if it's in the description. No, but here it is.
Years of inviting journalists to discuss the
Fair
policies
use.
former President Donald Trump. Rachel Scott, BBC. Thank you. Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically, Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, rolling.
That's my answer.
Better than
Yeah,
President
really
Johnson
say,
who
whoa.
signed the Voting
Yeah,
Rights
whoa.
Act.
For you to start off my question
Roland Martin was saying, whoa. Beep, beep, beep.
and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace. I
Let
really
me,
do.
let
I
me
think
just
it's
ask a follow-up,
disgrace.
sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans.
Okay. Someone wrote that maybe I should play it in increments or slow it down. Well, you know, this is all fair use. This has been available. I've had this up. The video that I had when I had Judge Joe Brown on last week, I had over, do y'all know I had over 13,000 views? That's like the highest viewers I've had on this channel in history. In the several years that I've been on here doing this live stream, in 4 years, that's the highest I've gotten, which shows me that YouTube has been shadow banning my channel. But also on top of that, it shows when you have Judge on how many people he could draw. Just imagine, and I've had Judge on before, so just imagine the views that I would have gotten. But the reason the video actually got taken down, the video is back up with the judge. I had a copyright strike because there was a 13-second video I did with the Olympic boxer, the female boxer out in the Olympics. I played the 13-second clip when she fought the Italian female, right? And that's another story. And I got suspended. My video was blocked by the Olympics.
By the International Committee or something like that.
But I've appealed it, and I appealed it, and it got denied. So then I went to YouTube, and I stated, well, you hear me doing commentary throughout the video, and even with that, before I showed it, and underneath there's a banner that says fair use. So I wasn't showing the whole Olympics. It was 12 seconds. So they lifted the ban. But that's the first 4 minutes of it. So Sean, I'm not going to play the full interview, but I'm going to play just a little bit more. But when he talks about Madam Vice President. But Sean, what do you think so far?
Well, I think that these women were basically looking to try to emasculate the president, and they looked to try to humiliate and embarrass him, but the whole thing basically blew up in their face. And it blew up in their face because they were being disingenuous. And as they were being disingenuous, they were not looking to, again, have an objective interview with Donald Trump on the issues. They were just looking to try to be, again, biased like ABC was when they were trying to have their so-called debate disaster with Joe Biden. But the whole thing blew up in their face because Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And as they started to attack him, he came back at them with their own incompetence, and the whole thing basically blew up in their face. And the whole thing is that this National Association of Black Journalists wasn't really presenting journalism, because if they were presenting journalism, they would have been focusing on Black issues and focusing on tangibles, but they weren't focused on tangibles. They were just basically being attack dogs for the left and looking to push the leftist agenda, which really has me questioning the whole credibility of them as journalists, because a journalist is supposed to be objective, supposed to be about the facts, and supposed to be about the issues at hand. And that's not what I saw being presented as related to that interview and that first pointed question that was meant to attack Donald Trump and not really challenge him to present his issues and what he would do for Black people.
And they don't mention necessarily a Black agenda, but just go ahead and finish.
Republicans on Capitol Hill have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black. until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't
said?
know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you
interview.
told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had.
So about that. So this is something they've been hawking on, that Donald Trump is attacking Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, by saying she has always been South Indian. She's never been black. Sean?
Well, I can't say that he's wrong because I hear many black people on social media make the same talking point. I mean, I have made that same talking point. Many other YouTubers have made that talking point. Kamala Harris really is not a black person. She is mixed with Jamaican and Indian. She is not foundational black American at all. So when I listen to the president and I look at that loaded question, it's trying to make him look like a racist. But the whole thing is, Kamala Harris herself has claimed that she is an Asian person. They have video of her doing this on a cooking show. They have video of her talking about Asian issues, and many news media outlets have presented her as an Asian candidate. And the mainstream media wanted to position her as a black candidate because they wanted to try to trick black women into voting for her. But the whole thing is that whole plan basically fell apart because new black media has come out and basically shattered that talking point with hard evidence video of Kamala Harris making this statement. And what they're trying to do here is trying to make Donald Trump appear to be a racist, even though this has been talked about again on black media outlets, at length. And most people do not see Kamala Harris as a black woman. No, that's a narrative that Joe Biden pushed in 2020 that got black people to vote who didn't know any better. But now the new black media has gotten a hold of this. They've shattered this narrative, and they can't stand on this talking point. And Donald Trump basically is just reinforcing the talking points of articles that are already out there on their own media outlets that say Kamala Harris is the first Asian senator or the first Asian district attorney. I mean, these are news media outlets have been posting these for years, so there's no way of getting around the talking point that they already made themselves.
Yeah. Well, I believe what it was when Joe Biden was running for president, they were requesting, and by they, I meant the elite black, sororities. I believe it was some members of AKA and the Deltas, if I'm not mistaken, and other black leaders. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't they the ones asking for a black woman to be the pick for vice president?
No, they might have asked, but they didn't get one.
I kind of remember that. They wanted one, and there were talks about, I remember the talks were it was Vice President Harris, Kamala Harris was one, not Sheila Jackson Lee, Keisha Lance Bottoms. I remember she was actually a pick. Who else? There were a few. Am I right?
Yeah, there were a few.
You know what? I got something to say about this because it's kind of funny.
Okay.
You see, he talked to Harris Faulkner and he was fine. So, right. But if you look at it from what it is, see, she said that DEI sponsored by a group, BlackRock pushes that. Matter of fact, they also control his investment portfolio too. But Donald Trump would know. He donated $5,000 to Kamala Harris' Senate campaign in 2016, so he would know exactly who she is. Go figure. So that's just that. But at the same time, you got to understand, Donald Trump has backed Republicans and Democrats, Hillary Clinton and so forth and like. So to me, this is just a bunch of jibber jabber that really went on. But if you look at it, like he said, he respects either one. She doesn't respect it because, as a matter of fact, she won't tell you he is. But here's the thing. when she says she's a Jamaican, right? I mean, there are West Indian Jamaicans, the Trinidad. I mean, you got people in all these mixed cultures. So, I mean,
Wait.
I used to talk to Jamaican women. I mean, you got people over there that Asians run shops over there. So, what is she talking about? And then, if you come on the other side, you don't have Indian Americans claiming her, nor do you have Jamaicans claiming her. Matter of fact, I talked to a Jamaican woman that can't stand her. So, before.
Wait,
So
Bernard, stop. Wait, hold up one second. I'm gonna let you finish, but this is what I was talking about. There was an open letter from, so I had the Black Women Leaders letter to Democratic presidential candidate Joseph Biden. Sisters lead, sisters vote, and the actionnetwork.org. So this was the petition that they signed to get Joe Biden to pick a Black woman to be vice president. And there are several names on the list. I'll post a link. Oh God, Brittany Cooper. Huh. If I'm not, yeah. There was a bunch of women who signed this. So yeah, I don't want to say the wrong people, the wrong names or anything like that. So if I said AKA sponsored it, leadership, I apologize for that. I don't want to say the wrong people. I want to make sure I get this correct. Pauletta Washington out of Beverly Hills. I want Denzel's wife. Bernard. Oh, Bernard stepped out. So yeah, this is the letter here. So yeah, they were. I mean, technically, you could say, in fairness, yes, she was picked because she was a Black. They want to get votes because she was a person of color. There was pressure on them. There were calls for that, right?
Didn't work out.
Yeah. I posted the link. Well, finish it. I'm gonna let you finish your point, Bernard, and then I'm gonna move on. But go ahead. Go finish your statement. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna say this: that the fact that what's so bad? We got all these articles and things like that. And we got all this stuff, right? But the conversation is not whether she's a Black woman, she's an Indian woman. The point is that these people are not even asking her what her policy is. They just saying, "Oh, I just want to make history." Yeah, well, y'all better pay attention to the policy she pushing, because the policy she pushing ain't gonna benefit you at all. Point blank, period.
Yeah. My whole thing is she could be purple, she could be green. It's her policies and her record that I had the issue with. Yes, people say why I wanna catering that I cater to the right. Some people want to ask me that. It's because I'm not catering to them. It's the fact I'm frustrated with you in blue, because when we want stuff and we are the loyal base for the Democrats, let's just be real. Black people support the Democrat. They're the largest voting bloc. We are. They believe that our votes belong to them, and that's why they're not promising you anything. And Republicans, they're white boying. Someone says, "Why you ain't talking about Trump?" Trump is doing what he's been doing, and and we got these people shaming Black people to vote. Now, Bernard, you hinted to this, and this is what I'm going to move on to. I'm going to play some other stuff, but I want to show everybody this is on Lenard's Instagram. Now, he has this up, I believe, according to Dwan B. DL Hughley had this up. I haven't seen DL's Instagram. But he also said Questlove had this up. So they wrote things you niggas need to know before you vote. And you look in the comments section, there's a few praising this, and there's some who's calling them out for it. So Charlemagne put this up. He goes in saying Trump didn't give you the 1,200. He was talking about the pandemic, the $1,200 in stimulus checks. He says Trump may have signed the legislation, but it was Congress that drafted, debated, and passed these bills, making the checks a result of legislative action and executive approval, rather than a unilateral action by the president. Of course, it can't be a unilateral action by the president. Any bills, anything related to commerce has to be signed, has to be passed by Congress. That has to be legislated by Congress. So he was the president that signed this. But let's put the roles reversed. If it was under President Obama or if it was under President Biden, would they even be talking about this? Yes or no?
Nope, they wouldn't be talking about it at all.
Now here they say Kamala Harris is in fact black, which is what they're debating, which is what we're talking about. She's of mixed heritage with a mother from India and a father from Jamaica. Her father is of Afro-Jamaican descent, which contributes to her black identity. Well, actually, that's misleading in and of itself, because on her birth certificate, her mother's identified as Caucasian, and even though she's from India. Now, my understanding, she's Hamsu Brahmin, Indian, which is like the highest caste system in India. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And typically, it's not uncommon that even Asian people who are dark skinned, just like Latinos, will identify as white. Because they do that because that's the highest class system in, which is why some Asians come into this country and have a negative view, let's be honest, towards black people. Look at Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi was Dr. King's hero. He actually based the nonviolent protest off Gandhi, but Gandhi was a racist. Gandhi hated the South Africans. He referred to them as Kafas. You know that?
Yeah.
Now, and plus, from my understanding regarding her father, Donald Harris, he's refuted some of the stuff that that Vice President Harris has said, especially when she was on a Breakfast Club talking about smoking weed and so forth. And they've even traced his ancestry back. It's my understanding his goes back to slave owners. Now, I'm not going to judge that because everybody's not responsible, I guess, in some ways. We're not responsible for what our ancestors may have done in the past. But at the same time, let's call it out equally. And let's be fair. Now, you want to say you're going to vote for it, just say you want to vote for it. So Charlemagne wrote that he had this whole thing up. He says, your vote doesn't matter. The popular vote influences the U.S. electoral colleges by determining the winner each state. Most states use a winner-take-all system where the candidate with the most votes get all the state's electoral votes. The electoral college decides the presidency. So candidates focus on swing states to secure the necessary 270 electoral votes to win. Now, voting, yes, in large ways does matter, but what's also you have to remember when you're talking about voting, especially if you vote in local, it's important you vote in local and state elections because, and I agree with this, because you're more impacted by what goes on in your state, by what goes on in your DA's office, your municipalities, your taxes, that has an impact on you. So you do need to use your voice. But let's be real, many politicians, and you know this, and Charlemagne and those guys know this, they're bought off by corporations. Lobbyists fund many of these political parties. Look, why do you think George Clooney called for Joe Biden to step down from the 2024 nomination? Because he's one of the biggest donors to the Democratic Party. Now, you think George Clooney is hurting in this recession? A man who has 3 homes. He has about 5 homes in different countries. He's worried about this. Do y'all think George Clooney is hurting in the economy? Or Brad Pitt?
No, actually, they're getting richer.
Do y'all think? You think they hurting? These are millionaires. They don't have any connection with ordinary people. They don't struggle and work no, they work, but they're multimillionaires. They could afford to downsize if they wanted to. We can't. You hurting what they hurting? What, they can't take their airplane ain't got enough fuel? Your helicopter pilot is sick? What's going on? Your limo is in the shop? Get real. They decide that, and then on top of that, let's not forget what happened in 2000 when George Bush ran against Al Gore. Did they not steal the election for George W. Bush? Al Gore, everybody said Al Gore beat George Bush hands down, but he couldn't carry Tennessee, his home state. And on top of that, the Supreme Court decided that election, not the American people. And George W. Bush, and he was a Republican, was one of the worst presidents. To me, he was the worst in my lifetime, especially with Katrina. So then they tell this about she didn't lock up thousands of black men. They say during her tenure as California's Attorney General from 2011 to 2017, there were over 1,900 people who were admitted to state prisons for marijuana or hashish-related charges. But cannabis-related cases in California are prosecuted by district attorneys and individual counties, not attorney generals. Kamala Harris was the district attorney for San Francisco from 2004 to 2011, and during her tenure, she only sentenced 45 people total, not just black people, to state prison for marijuana-related charges, according to Mercury News. They're forgetting something, though, that's not accurate, because, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Kamala Harris also Attorney General, and she was Attorney General from She was Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017. So they forgot that part. See, they leave that part out, and I'm going to show you because Brother Dwan B brings something up. As the AG, a federal court and I'm going to play this video by Brother Dwan because he explains it in detail in 6 minutes. So I'm going to let him talk, and I don't think he has a problem with me sharing this. And so let me just go ahead and stop the screen because he's going to break it down for you. Shout out to my man Dwan B. All right. So hold on.
Paid Chills to come and speak to us in the language that we want to hear. You know it's paid shills because you got Charlemagne the God tweeting this particular series of tweets I'm about to show y'all along with Questlove. We all heard what Kai said recently about the Democrats reaching out to him. So we could all assume that when we see these celebrities speaking, they're getting paid to. But let's break down what they're saying. Things you niggas need to know before you vote. Good one, Kamala. Congrats.
So y'all think this is going to get black men like you or Sean or Bernard and myself to come out and vote? Is it going to get you out here on YouTube? I'm going to finish the video because I want y'all to talk. But yeah, he does a great breakdown, and I'm going to play it. Hold
Second, Kamala Harris is in fact black. I don't know why they're trying to tell us that, but let's go into Kamala Harris's words when it comes to that when she's not running for president. Let's see what she says.
Like every other year. My grandparents were phenomenal. We would go back to India like every other year. My grandfather fought for and was a defender of the freedom of India.
Okay, so I don't know any black people that go back to India every other year. Now I know a whole bunch of black people that go down south every other year for a family reunion, but into India every other year, I don't know about that. But anyway, they're trying to convince us that she's black. Those are her words. What about here?
The Democratic Party for a very long time, not just this election cycle, has been doing a lot of active outreach around South Asians, around the API in general, and we'll continue to do it. I mean, what we know in particular when you're talking about South Asian community, we're talking about the Indian community more specifically, our collective community, and there needs to be outreach and inclusion.
And certainly you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not quit.
You could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not quit. Democratic.
Okay, She's calling herself Indian. Okay, Kamala Harris plays whatever side of the fence she needs to play. That's fine. So let's set race aside. Okay, it doesn't matter what race she is. I love everybody. But let's go to her policy.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
You see her body language?
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Oh, but you want to run on being Black. You're not gonna do anything that fixes only Black people, that helps only Black people, but you're also part of a campaign that specifically targets South Asians for benefits. Also, let's go into her policy and the Biden administration policy while he was in office and she was the vice president. Fact sheet. The Biden-Harris administration advances equity and opportunity for South Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities across the country. Oh, so you can champion policies that specific one side of your lineage, but when it comes to Black people, it's...
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Those are Kamala Harris's words. All right, let's move on. So it says here, Kamala Harris did not lock up thousands of Black men. And this is what they do. They lower the argument to a small, narrow point of view.
Now watch very carefully because he's going to bring up the record that I was mentioning earlier. So fair use, by the way, fair use.
Talks about just the weed convictions. Okay, let's talk. What about all the other things that she did? Look at this. This is from the New York Times. Lawyers for California Attorney General Kamala Harris argued in court this fall against the release of eligible nonviolent prisoners from California's overcrowded prisons because the state wanted to keep them as a labor force. She ignored the Department of Justice. Do you want a president that's ignoring the Department of Justice and civil rights statutes for overcrowded prisons? Look at another issue of hers. A judge rips Harris' office for hiding problems. This isn't me talking. This isn't a gossip blog. This is a federal Superior Court judge that basically ripped Kamala Harris when she was the DA in San Francisco for withholding evidence, which is a violation of the Supreme Court, which led to more than 600 cases being thrown out. Agenda 47 is not for your Black ass. First off, why are you talking to me? You haven't said anything that's for me either way. You also said that you're not going to do anything for my Black ass only. What we see here is Kamala Harris, on one hand, using race to get our vote. But when it comes down to doing things for us, this is her response.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Let me stop for a second. So he's talking about Agenda 47. What's up, Derek Bailey? Anybody know what Agenda 47 is?
Yeah, that's Trump's agenda, actually.
This is Trump's agenda. Now, everybody was worried about Project 2025 because that was the agenda from the Heritage Foundation. And the Heritage Foundation is a conservative think tank, if you're familiar with them. But this is Trump's platform. Now, just looking at it, there is nothing in here, obviously, that says it's specific to Black people. He has not presented a Black agenda. Now, at the same time, when they had the sit down with the National Association of Black Journalists, don't you think that should have been a time for Rachel Scott and those two other sisters to bring that up, to ask him specifically what you want, what is the Black agenda? Do you support reparations? He had the Platinum Plan in 20 talked about that. Don't you think that would have been an important question?
Would have been a perfect time to ask that.
Would have been a perfect time. They didn't do that. But let me go back. So that's the Agenda 27 he's talking about. But I have not seen, so that's Agenda 27. So you can check it here. Keep men, they talk about keep men out of women's sports. And you know what? I'm in favor of that. That's not me being hate. I don't think men belong in sports with girls. I don't think they belong in the locker rooms. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't like the open border situation. I agree with that. I try to find stuff with the Democrats to agree, see what they specifically are saying for Blacks, and can you find it? Let's look at let me look at Kamala Harris's website. Let's look at her campaign website. Okay. Now, the first thing you see Now, of course, I think they did have donations on Trump's website, if I'm not mistaken, but they want you to subscribe. But they're asking you, she's raised a lot of money, over $20 million in the last few weeks. Now, there's a contribute button on Agenda 40, Donald Trump's page. And the first thing you see, there's a donation page. 25, 147. Now, there's no surprise there. But let's close it. Let's see if we see a platform. It's a Meet Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris. Now, you don't see necessarily an agenda here. What you see so far, what I'm seeing, is a bio page. Same thing with the Vice President nominee, Tim Walz. And he is pro, I talked about him Tuesday. He is pro open borders. Now, he was governor at the time of the George Floyd situation. But you look at it, there's no platform. I'm being fair. Do y'all see? This is to attend an event. Do y'all work for the contribute? Work for the campaign? What do y'all? There's no agenda here.
Does he have to give you one?
Well, I'm interested to see the platform. So far, what I hear from them is they speak on reproductive rights, which is another fancy way of saying they want abortion again. Although the United States, what they stated was abortion was not something that needed to be decided by the Supreme Court. So they left it up to the states. But they talk about that. I'm sure there's LGBTQ. There's also immigration.
Well,
Right.
Yeah, so there's nothing here. And I'm going to finish the video. And Sean, I know you you said you had to run in a little bit, but
yeah.
okay, but let me just finish the last few minutes of the video, and then if you got any other.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Instead of coming out with policy to right the wrong of what she said 4 years ago on the election campaign, she instead, in her administration and the Democratic Party, instead of righting the wrong and giving us policy and doing something of substance that's going to help us out, they decide to turn around and say and lie to us and give us these half truths and then tell us things you niggas need to know before you vote. Well, this is something you niggas need to know before you vote. She ain't down with you niggas. We don't owe them our vote. We don't need to vote based on racial color lines. We don't need to vote based on how we feel. You vote to decide who's going to get what. That's what voting is about. Who is going to get what out of all of these taxes that we pay? And if they're not offering policy, if they're not offering specific things for you, you don't need to vote. Why? Because they offer specific things to other groups of people that Black people are not eligible for. So if they're not offering the same to us, we don't owe them anything. As a matter of fact, like the great Dr. John Henry Clark says, Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. Remember that.
Sean, I'll let you take the lead.
Well, everything that he has said, I have said in videos, and many others in New Black Media have said. And the sad part is with a lot of Black folks is that we're debating this talking point about Kamala's ethnicity when Kamala Harris isn't Black at all, has never represented Black issues, has never talked about a Black agenda, has never talked about offering tangibles to Black people. But because a lot of spellbound Black folks saw Joe Biden bring her over, they assumed that she was Black, and we ran to go vote for her. A lot of the boomers, a lot of the dysfunctional folks, and again, never asked the critical question is, what are you going to get for your vote? And what's even sadder now that she hasn't even been elected to these primaries and has just picked Nobody is asking the question, what is this woman's agenda for anyone? I mean, they just want us to vote on emotion because she is not Donald Trump. And her not being Donald Trump is not enough because, again, elections are about who gets what and what tangibles are given to people in exchange for their vote. And if she's not offering us anything tangible, then there's no reason to even consider voting for her and no reason to even consider going to the polls because, again, election day is payday. And election day is the day your politicians are supposed to be bringing you tangibles and not just going out here voting on emotion. Because what we got for voting on emotion for the last, I'd say, about 60 years has gotten us a big bag of jack crap. And that's what you get with Kamala Harris. We get nothing at all. But we clearly see that the shills and the bootlicks have their propaganda machine going, a propaganda machine that's been going would have been going full steam with these lies had there not been a new black media to push back on it. Because it's us pushing back that had the impact. It's us pushing back that really made the difference. It's us pushing back. And in this case, with Kamala Harris, I can see where they're just her and this Tim Walz are just jobbers. Basically, the Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro Bizarro edition. The Walter Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro Bizarro edition, who are just being put out here because the more serious Democrats, the Gavin Newsoms, the Josh Shapiro's, and many others don't want to run because they know this is a loser ticket. And they know it's a loser ticket, and that's why they're all backing out. They're backing out because they know that with only 90 days to run, they have no platform, they have no agenda, and they're basically setting up Kamala Harris to be the next Michael Dukakis or the next Geraldine Ferraro and Walter Mondale. And they're basically waiting for the next election cycle. And black folks should just wait for the next election cycle and see if there's going to be some tangibles put on the table. This is a great time for us to stay home and stay home because there's nothing on the table for us in terms of black agenda, in terms of tangibles. And with Kamala Harris, she never wanted to give us anything tangible. So we got less than any reason to vote for her at all.
Sean, so let me ask you, you don't think she has a chance? I've asked Judge Joe Brown. You don't think she has a chance to win?
No, she doesn't have a chance. She doesn't have a chance at all. We saw what happened with Hillary with white women, and I believe with Kamala, she would lose the white women, she would lose the Hispanic women, she would lose the Asian women based on the failed border policy. Remember, she was the border czar over the border, and she basically failed there. So she's going to lose the women there. She's definitely going to lose the white men, and she's definitely going to lose the black men after the years of persecution. She may even lose the black women. This is going to basically be where she possibly gets steamrolled worse than Walter Mondale in 1984 because she has nothing to offer anyone. And outside of making the same old dry talking points from the Biden administration, she's running on Joe Biden's record, which has been absolutely abysmal. And when I look at her again, I just see a jobber on the level of Walter Mondale or Michael Dukakis. And basically, this woman is one of the worst presidential candidates in history next to Walter Mondale, which was a disaster in 1984. I mean, he basically got destroyed and lost 49 of 50 states.
This
and
is a map here.
She would get crushed. And that's what I believe would happen to her. And I believe it would have happened to Joe Biden had it been not for COVID. He would have suffered the same fate. But because the economy is in such a bad place, I do not see Kamala Harris being a viable candidate because the minute she opens her mouth and goes into word salad mode, that's when she's basically going to be done as a candidate. And when I saw her pick Tim Walz, I basically knew it was over because, again, if this was a serious campaign, you would have seen Gavin Newsom step up. You would have seen Josh Shapiro step up. You would have seen them all step up. But the whole thing is they don't want to step up because they don't want to lose their opportunity to run in 2028. And the more distance they put between themselves and this disaster of a campaign is an opportunity for them to run next time. So they're willing to take the L. I believe the whole party is basically looking to take the L and make Kamala Harris the punchline of a cruel joke because they know they had to pick her. And as they know they had to pick her, basically they knew, hey, let's set this Indian woman up to be the punchline of the cruel joke. And sadly, she can't hear the laughter behind her, similar to what happened to what the late David Carroll made as the analogy of Carrie going to the prom. You can't hear them laughing at her, but the whole thing is she can't see what's going on. But I can see 7 steps ahead, and she's basically being set up to be the punchline of one of the cruelest jokes that those on the left could pull on one of these minority women.
So okay. So that means you don't think you think if she wins, the election is rigged.
No, I don't think it's rigged. I just think that people would be stupid to elect somebody who already has been shown to be dysfunctional, can't run an office. I mean, her vice presidential office was a mess. You'd have to be a special brand of stupid to vote for this woman. I'd have to say, lower IQ than an ice cube to vote for this woman. And you'd have to be a special brand of dumb to vote for this woman. And if they voted for her, they would have the same regret we have here in New York with Kathy Hochul, where people voted for her to save their abortions, but their state is running into the ground with a budget deficit, and we have her making stupid policies. I mean, she's done.
Don't you think you're being too harsh on?
No, I'm not being too harsh. This is reality.
People that want to vote for the first female president.
I wouldn't vote for her if she was the first female dog catcher. She has no qualifications whatsoever to be in that office. She's an idiot all around. And again, if you voted for her, you'll have the same regrets we have here in New York for voting for Kathy Hochul, where most of those same people who got in their feelings about abortion rights, they got in their feelings about abortion rights with Kathy Hochul. Now they're regretting it because her fiscal policy is garbage. Her ability to run the state is garbage. And outside of her being a woman, again, that empty symbolic gesture that means absolutely nothing. Most New Yorkers are suffering under Kathy Hochul. And again, hiring a woman to be in a position of power doesn't mean that you're hiring them to be in a position of good. Look at Lucasfilm with Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, they got a woman in the position, but she's running the place straight into the ground. And outside of that symbolic statement of saying, oh, we've got the first woman, she's not accomplishing anything tangible. And we got the same thing with Kamala Harris. We get the same dysfunction on display because this woman, all she can do is check the diversity check boxes, but she has no substantive policy to show that she's qualified to do the job of running the country. And her inability to run foreign policy, that would be one reason why I wouldn't consider her. She's just not a good fit for the office and would be the worst candidate, again, since Kathy Hochul here in New York and Eric Adams. Again, this whole administration of Kamala Harris would be a bigger disaster than anything Trump could ever do. And again, this is the rock and the hard place American people have put themselves in because they don't think critically about who they pick as their candidate.
All right. Well, Sean has said enough. But Sean, if you want to do a plug-in, I know you said you got to go. You can plug in something.
All right, you can pick up the books of the SJS Direct 2024 catalog on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can find those three books, John Haynes' Illuminati, ISIS, Dark Incubus, and Esteemed Horror in the Hamptons. You can find all three of these books on Amazon.com, and you can find them all by heading over to Amazon, and you can get all of my books in the SJS Direct imprint over there.
All right. Bernard, I'm going to let you also give a comment about what Sean had to say. And Sean, if you need to leave, I understand. Actually, there's another video I was going to share with Bernard. This was from Ricky Smiley, because Ricky Smiley, who is on radio, was going in on people.
Clown show.
All right, well, I'm going to get ready to go then.
All right, bro. Take care. Well, this is what, You want to go ahead and comment on what Sean had to say, or can I just go play the video right quick?
Yeah, go ahead and play the video because it's going to tie into what I got to say.
I'm asking, I wanted to ask you because I wanted to tie in, Now, look, I know that I understand most of us vote Democrat, so he's going to take a side, whatever, but this is the same Ricky Smiley 4 years ago when Kamala Harris called in on his radio station. She knew the song to Atomic Dog, the lyrics to Atomic Dog, and he got all excited and decided to vote for her for president. But this is from Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur. So she has this video, and I know she won't mind. Queen, I love you.
Who don't support Kamala Harris. Now, Essie went on this entire tirade, dragging us for filth and basically trying to shame us and guilt us into support.
So, and there's more to this. Brother Phil Scott from the Phil Advice Show actually did a great video where he broke down when Ricky Smiley was being interviewed by Shannon Sharp, how he, D.L. Hughley, and Steve Harvey talk with each other about how they do their shows and especially what agendas and stuff they're going to push. He said this. So Keep that in mind when you're listening to his radio show. But I haven't listened to it ever since he took over for Tom Joyner. And I regret
and voting for her. He didn't really get into detail about her policies. He simply said that possibly she was going to appoint 2 Supreme Court justices who would uphold things that Thurgood Marshall had already set in place. So let's get into it.
That way, I wouldn't dare make a video or say nothing like that to the Vice President of the United States of America that's trying to stand up and that's going to possibly pick 2 United States Supreme Court justices or whatever to try to keep the laws in place that Thurgood Marshall and all of the people that have paved the way and try to redo and get back into some of this settled law, women's rights to choose, your voting rights, and Brown versus the Board of Education. Do your homework.
Hold up. Let me just tell you something right here that could be very historic. And Kay pointed this out to me. If Kamala Harris is elected, she would be sworn in on MLK Day
by the first Black Supreme Court,
and possibly by Ketanji Brown Jackson.
That symbolism. That's nice for a kid. But what about substance?
Does that not give you chills? Does that not send
Maria,
make your whole body vibrate?
Maria, I can go deeper than that. You got a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated reading in a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated into the damn White House. What's wrong with y'all? Come on, man.
MLK Holiday.
Y'all mad because you talking about reparations. Who is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated? Come on now.
So Ricky Smiley and his co-hosts are basically saying that we should vote for her because of the color of her skin, that we should vote for her because of sororities and fraternities and historic moments, not because she's going to do anything significant or beneficial for us, not because she's going to change any types of policies that would positively impact our community. No, basically vote for her because she's a woman of color. And at the end of the day, this is going to be historic. That's all they're concerned about. So really, the only reason he wants us to vote for her, and in fact, likely the only reason he himself is voting for her, is because she's the same color as that jacket that she's wearing in this video. Or at least that's what he seems to think. Please pay attention. As he sat there trying to guilt and shame us into supporting Harris, he said that if we're not for her, then we're automatically for 45, which isn't true because I'm voting for Dr. Shiva. And also, here's the thing. Rather than pandering to us by getting Megan Thee Stallion up there on stage or sitting down for an interview with Luke from 2 Live Crew, she could have been talking about reparations. She could have been talking about a hate crime bill or some other form of tangibles that would benefit my community significantly, something that would have a positive impact. But rather than doing any of those things, Ricky Smiley wants us to get all excited because she's in a good sorority.
I know Ricky Smiley. He's a great comedian and so forth. I respect him as a comedian. But this wasn't shit, brother. I'm going to finish the video. This wasn't it. I get you want to stand by the... Look, a lot of these, you got to realize this too, Bernard. Many of these radio stations, let me make sure I get this mic in place. I keep moving it. Here. Let me put it here. Y'all can hear me good, right? Most of these radio stations, as you know, black radio stations from what they were in the 70s are not what they were from now. They've actually gone downhill, and they've closed many of black radio stations. Black radio programs don't exist anymore because major corporations, like, for instance, iHeartRadio, which is a big corporation, they bought up a lot of the black R&B radio stations. So they switched programming, right? So certain DJs that used to be on aren't on anymore in the mornings or in talk shows. That's why you have shows. Cumulus is another big network. You know that? So, and this is not me necessarily attacking them, but I'm making the point that when you have corporations, when you have big companies that buy these radio stations and they put in the programming, they direct basically what they want their audience to hear and what they gear them towards. They have advertisers who buy time, like Walmart, Coca-Cola, Fortune 500, Tom Joyner, McDonald's. Tom Joyner used to have McDonald's. He had all of these corporations come in.
Yep. Well,
certain people weren't on, but yeah, I want to finish the video if I can. But yeah, I'm gonna finish what she has to say.
And could possibly be sworn in by someone else who's in a Greek sorority. Please make that make sense. Okay, more symbolic gestures. He's condoning the use of a system of benign neglect that the Democrats, and yes, I said.
And let's not forget, Ketanji Brown, Justice Jackson, and Vice President Harris are married to white men too. So
the Democrats have always enacted as in dealing with people who look like me. We're no longer falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We're not going to vote for someone because of their race, ethnicity, or nationality. That's what the smart ones amongst us are not going to do. Now, the rest of y'all who want to go out there and just vote for this woman just because you think that she is the same thing as this outfit that I'm wearing, well, go right ahead. But that's insidiously obtuse. Please pay attention.
All right.
Well,
go ahead and make your point, brother. Finish what you were saying.
while you and Sean were talking, I was reading over all that nonsense they were putting. I went and looked at their Instagram handles. Matt Barnes, Questlove. So Charlemagne the God, whose Instagram name is Leonard, right? And I'm like, Matt Barnes, what are you doing? Are you a basketball player? Charlemagne, you're a radio. Matter of fact, Charlemagne is syndicated radio. So let's get this right. When you talk about black radio, syndicated radio has actually killed us because you guys got to perd the talking point of what they say. Even Soros talking about buying up a lot of radio stations and things like that earlier. You just had Michael Bloomberg that just donated $600 million to 4 HBCUs. So when you do that, and these corporations and conglomerates buy you, you are parroting the talking points for them. And that's why I don't even take these guys seriously. That's why you very hardly ever find me. If I'm in my car going down the road, I gotta be playing, some older music, or, I might listen to different than them, but I gotta listen to, you or, people, or to get some information. I can't listen to these radio shows. The rotation the same. They suck. The only time I hear Steve Harvey morning show is sometime in the morning if I'm out there jogging or something, or running or working out, or guys maybe playing basketball. They had a little boombox inside and they may be playing radio. Otherwise, I'm not listening to that shit.
Well, let me say this: like Steve Harvey radio show, Tom Joyner, I used to listen to that in the morning. That was because that's what my dad would put on. Steve Harvey and so forth. We're driving, going fishing when I'm off or something like that. I'm with two older black men in there, like my uncle Mario and my dad, who are in their 70s and 60s respectively. So they like that type of stuff. And yeah, I gotta admit, a lot of the radio shows, yes, it is entertaining. And I like entertaining as well. That's my thing. But I also like to do what I like to call infotainment, because there's an importance with, yes, you want to entertain people, but you also want to provide them with valid information. Now, I'm not going to dictate who you're going to vote for or not. I don't think people need to be demonized. And this is the problem I see with Ricky Smiley, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, Charlemagne the God, Questlove. When y'all put stuff out like this, you're putting out things you niggas need to vote for. Like, who are you talking to? Who
talking to us?
No, but let me rephrase that. Who do you think you are to actually put that out like that? Like we don't have sense, that we don't research. Like, do as you're told. That's insulting to me. Now, you put it like that because I have questions about a candidate, her record, and when I talked about her record as Attorney General, as what Brother Dwan B stated, she was sued by the federal court because she was the Attorney General for having overcrowded prisons. The state of California was sued. There was an order from a federal judge reprimanding them on this. This is not something that came from Fox News. That didn't come from a right wing. That came from a court of law. They documented it. Now, you don't want to believe it? Fine, tough. That's you. Don't believe it. You still want to vote for it? Fine. But go there with some sense. Your life is not going to change. Like, I remember when Barack Obama became president. I was on the campus of Southern, and you couldn't give any constructive criticism of Barack Obama at all when he was running. If you dared said anything, and I knew the consequence of it, you said anything you didn't like about him, or you weren't on the bandwagon, you weren't drinking the Kool-Aid, your ass, you were ostracized. You had these Negroes talking down to you, like, and they haven't learned. But people are waking up. Go ahead.
When you demonize people, you actually push them away. And now you are demonizing me and you or anybody over people that may not even talk to you. They walk down the street, wouldn't even talk to these people if they saw you. So you are really, really buying the propaganda. I told you the young woman, she said she paid $3. They paid her money. They even tried to get that guy, what's that guy named streaming? Kai Sanat. They tried to get him to influence through his gaming platform.
Tantrum saying, no, I don't want that. No.
But so they go to show you the support is not real organic, but they are going to demonize you. But you notice they demonize you. I mean, I always say the term, you know the term, Gavin, you, Lord, you know the equal opportunity line, we can't discriminate. When y'all discriminate, that's the only one you blast. In most part, you're not blasting the Asians and anybody else. You damn sure ain't blasting the LGBTQ boys and the freaks and the geeks, right? So you're only blasting us, the browbeat us, but I don't see this with everybody else. So you're not being equal and you're not being diverse, as you say, and you're bashing.
Not being diverse in your bashing. Yeah, everything has to be balanced. And people wonder why I don't, somebody asked me why I'm not balanced, why I'm not going at the Republicans like this. The Republicans aren't putting out stuff like that. They're not doing get your booty to the polls. They're not using scripted. They're not, well, they had Amber Rose on stage, which was bad, but Amber Rose, to her credit, didn't work.
You know what's so funny, Gavin?
Working up there. They bring up fools like Tim Scott, but I can respect someone being honest in their opinion than somebody lying to me in my face and then stabbing me in my back. That's the position I take.
The thing with the Kamala thing with the Megan Thee Stallion thing, and she also brought Quavo. The funny thing, I said, damn, I could have stayed in Atlanta 4 more days. I was actually there like 2 weeks ago. But I'm gonna say this. They brought her out. Well, damn, she didn't talk long because the speech won't number 20 minutes. I mean, you can't even talk about policy in 20 minutes. So this must have been just a quick step and fetch. I'm gonna come out and show my face and these people. And then she was talking with that southern drawl, say it to my face. And he doesn't walk it like he talks it. Now, Kamala Harris ain't had no interviews. Did not want to debate Donald Trump. Now, just
you said
it.
Yeah, fake accent that everybody was talking about.
But she went down there. Now, to me, you were just talking about your uncles that were 70 and 60. This rally was at 7:30 in the daytime. I'm pretty sure women, children were there. So I kind of think this thing with Meg was a little bit out of control. But hey, that's how they do you, man. They get your booty to the polls. Next thing they do, they're gonna bring out Dwayne Wade and his son. They ain't no daughter. And matter of fact, you got that clown Udonis Haslam sticking up for Dwayne Wade, painting his son nails. I said, this clown. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I saw he was applauding Noah Lyles for having that his hands with fingernail polish, and Lyles finished. Not to me, I couldn't run a track to save my life, but Noah Lyles ended up losing the last race. He got the bronze medal, and it turns out he was diagnosed with COVID.
Boom. I didn't know that. I know he lost, though.
Yeah, he lost, and he was, I don't want to even show the other race, but he was like passed out. He was laying on the track afterwards, huh?
Ain't that something? I didn't know that. But it is what it is, but it goes to show you this campaign they run is gonna be a campaign of demonizing, especially men. But I will say this. Well, yeah, they demonize black men, but they are demonizing women too, because
there's some black women who don't like Kamala Harris. That's true.
I know one of them actually, she two of them actually. One of them said her friend told her, that you don't vote for her. I don't want you to come to the house after she gets in and say you support her. And the other one said they called her a bitch or something like that.
And look, I don't really like, it's not really wise. They always say don't talk politics at the table because fights. There's a reason why that. Best friends are going to break up based off who they vote for.
You see how we don't let these people come in your home?
You will never meet in their life. I'm likely never to meet these people in my life, but someone you've known for 20, 30 years, you vote for, you have different politics, and y'all gonna break up a friendship or a family like that. I've been shamed by members of my family because I wasn't feeling Barack Obama. And I wasn't really feeling him that much.
And you were right.
Yeah, it's my right. And
no, I'm saying you were right about him. You were right about him.
I voted for him one time, and a lot of people look at what's going on in Chicago, where he's from, with Brandon Johnson. Those people have buyer's remorse with Brandon Johnson because he's been prioritizing illegals. Now, let me say this, because I'm gonna wrap it up in a little bit, but don't let nobody vote shame you into doing. Do what you feel best. You don't have to tell everybody who you vote for either. You don't have to tell everybody what you're doing, and that might be one way to avoid controversy. But yeah, don't shame me to doing something that you want. Yeah, what you're about to say, Bernard.
I would say that people is more. I mean, if you look at this campaign they running, don't you feel like it's like you're almost in high school? They trying to make you bow down to peer pressure. Don't you think? Don't you ever look at it like that?
Of course they do. Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I look at it. Because you ain't gonna be my friend because of this, but I done helped you. I done been around you. I done known you. And you're talking about friends. It might not just be friends. It could be family.
Friends and family. Shout out to one who cares. Hi, Catalina. How you doing?
I want to commend you though for bringing that thing up with that National Association of Black Journalists. I'm gonna tell you something. Donald Trump gave them too much credit. If you had me wait 35, 45 minutes, I probably would have left, man. Shit.
Their audio equipment was messed up. They didn't have their microphones were in and out. Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah.
But they let her go. They told her she can come to do it by Zoom. I said, well, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I think they would do that. That way they had pre-read questions. But I don't think Kamala going to be doing a lot of the speaking. I think they're going to try to put Walsh out there a lot more sooner. And with her flub yesterday telling them people you don't want to tell the person I'm speaking now, you can basically tell them you can either, if you ain't voting for me, then you must be voting for Donald Trump. I like, well, I'd be damned.
Well, you said if you ain't vote for Biden, said if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And
yeah. Hey.
Yeah, and even Larry Elder called out Charlamagne for not checking it, which I thought.
Yeah, Charlamagne's been getting embarrassed a little bit. Even some callers called on his show, and actually had black men that called in and said they voted for Trump. So Charlamagne's been getting his ass whipped a lot lately. But however, he's doing his job. I mean, they got Cardi B supporting Kamala Harris now. Said she wasn't supporting no politician, but then all of a sudden, here we go again. And they got a new thing. They call it the K-Hive. They call Beyonce the Beehive. Now they call this the K-Hive. I'm like,
that's the one thing I don't mess with is the Beehive. They're gonna get you. They get your stuff. They're gonna get it canceled quicker than the Alpha community. Let me move on to one final thing. There was a boil advisory that was in New Orleans, my hometown, earlier. We all know that it's been lifted as of recently, but just FYI, so most people may not know, the advisory had been in place for the last 24 hours because a balloon caused an outage. So I'm gonna play a little audio courtesy of WDSU, fair use, and I'm gonna have y'all listen. And I don't want to get copyright strike.
And right now, a boil water advisory in effect over the entire east bank of New Orleans and Algiers Point.
Entergy says a Mylar balloon collided with a power line, causing the Carrollton water treatment plant to lose power. WGSU reporter
balloon collided with a power line that caused it to lose power. So basically, 80% of New Orleans, most of the New Orleans area was out of had to do a ball water advisory for at least 24 hours. All right.
And Brittany Berner are live with team coverage.
And we will first start with Shay. And Shay, you spoke with Sewage and Water Board and people who were affected. What did they say?
Good evening to you, Stella and Gina. Yeah, people have been sounding off about how a 3-minute power outage could pretty much cause a widespread boil water advisory across the city. Now, tonight, a worker from here at Sewage and Water Board New Orleans hospitalized following that outage. Officials tell me that if it weren't for that emergency, the outage probably wouldn't have happened. A brief Entergy power outage caused all pumps to go offline here at the Sewage and Water Board. When the power came back on, a worker sprung into action trying to put the pumps back on.
He sustained a very, very serious injury, which obviously then he became unable to continue to perform his role.
He was found by another worker who then alerted others.
They attended to their coworker until 911 and EMS showed up to the site. It wasn't until the EMS the site with the injured employee when they started paying attention.
Officials say in that time, these towers that help maintain water pressure for the city in case of a power outage ran out of time.
The 40 minutes had lapsed and we needed another 10 more minutes to restore all pumping that we needed and restore the pressure.
Which essentially caused the water pressure to drop below what is considered safe levels.
A damn balloon caused a lot of people to be funky at work today.
Wow.
Damn. Yeah.
In the interest of the public and their safety, we had to call for boil water advisory.
The Carrollton Water Plant is the only source for water for the entire east bank of the city. The director says this incident speaks to why a substation is underway.
We are in the midst of building and modernizing a power complex that will hopefully eliminate what happened yesterday in terms of relying on the energy grid and the vulnerability that is associated with it.
And we're told that samples have been taken and testing has been started. If all goes well, then we can expect for this boil water advisory to be lifted by as early as Thursday afternoon.
Shay Connor, damn. He was a hottie, huh? Bernard?
I will say this: you got a boil wide balloon. That sounds kind of crazy, but it is what it is. I was just looking at it, but wow, it's what it is, right? Hope everybody's okay. You know, we having a little bit of weather down here should be raining, flooding for next. I don't know.
Well, that was the big thing. I wanted to talk about that because that was the big thing here since yesterday. You know, I guess it's safe now with that stuff. Although, and especially just imagine with all we're dealing with the humidity, the heat. It's been, I don't know how hot it's been up in Virginia. I can only imagine. Here it's hot.
99 degree days, I tell you that.
It's 114 down here. The heat index makes it worse. The humidity makes it even unbearable. Whoever said that black people can work in the heat, they lied.
Well, you just had a city worker in Baltimore that died in the heat.
A city worker, they had a heat stroke.
Or heat exhaustion, something like that. But I mean, you know, yeah. So I mean, that's happening. I mean, you gotta understand.
Yeah, heat stroke. That actually, I wonder if the family might actually have questions about that. That might be a lawsuit. Should be a lawsuit in it.
It's weird though, man, because a couple weeks ago we had a guy. He was doing a basketball camp at the University of Richmond. He passed out, but they said he drinks sweet tea and Red Bulls, and he don't drink no water. So I mean, you know, that can happen too. So
if you don't drink, you got to drink water. The body is made up 70% of water, right? or more, you gotta drink water out here, man. You gotta carry a bottle with you. Drink at least you gotta drink a couple, at least a gallon before you go working out there.
I can't see the article.
Well, this is it here. So what they state it is elected officials and union leaders were calling for safer, more humane conditions because the man who passed away was Ronald Silver II, 36 years old, young guy. They said they had treated that his cause of death was hyperthermia. You know, hypo is when the body gets too cold, but his body was overheated. And temperatures in Baltimore were about 100 degrees on Friday. Ronald Silver died service the citizens of Baltimore. Council member Zeke Cohen shared in a news conference. He deserved to be remembered with reverence, and we will honor him. We must also be honest; he should still be alive today. Yeah, he should. You know, they had a U.S. last year. I remember there was a U.S. postal worker that passed out on somebody's porch. They had somebody who died, a U.S. postal worker that died, I think, too. Another one because of that. There was, I think it was either it was a postal worker or I could be mistaken. It was also a UPS worker because in those trucks too, they're not air conditioned. You know that?
Yep.
They're not air conditioned. I don't even think they have fans, and they gotta wear, sometimes they may have to wear long clothes. Definitely wear long pants, or I've seen them with shorts or long shirt, t-shirt, and stuff like that. But that doesn't help when you're carrying mail all over. Yeah.
UPS is talking about getting air conditioning trucks. Post office is trying to go to EV. They got fans, but fans, it was hot day, that's right. Hey, that's blowing right back on you. But yes, you are. But yeah, it do be hot in a lot of these FedEx. I have to ask a guy about FedEx. I know a guy that works at FedEx, so you got to understand, Gavin. It's like you said, 114 degrees in Louisiana, right? So if you're not drinking, probably 2 jugs of water that day. I mean, you might run into some serious health conditions.
Most definitely. Do you have any? Yeah, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We've been on for about 2 hours. I appreciate you, Brother Bernard, for coming on in. Tell everybody about your live stream. I know you go on. You don't have a set schedule, but you come on randomly.
Yeah, I've been coming on more so Monday and Tuesday night lately. But sometime, it depends. But well, actually not Tuesday. This Tuesday I did it because I didn't know how bad it was on me. But let's see. You can give me King BJ Johnson on YouTube, Bernard 1121 Instagram, Bernard Johnson on Facebook. Also, you can email me some things at bernardjohnson10@yahoo.com. Let Gavin and me know very well the censorship complex is real. And make sure y'all donate to Gavin Rashad.
A couple people have donated. Shout out to them. Thank you. Make sure you buy The Woman Crisis by Sean James. Also support Sean, Bernard's channel. And tell everybody your channel again, Bernard.
King BJ Johnson.
King BJ Johnson.
That's right. So, but I just want to say the next couple months, Gavin, the man hating is gonna get real, even by other men. So
it's already here.
Put a hey, look, man, like they say, man, put a bulletproof vest on.
Hopefully it don't get to that point, but you decided on who you. I don't know if you decided on who you're voting for. I won't ask you, but
no, we good on that, brother. Hey, look, I told people, hey, look, but this one, I'm gonna tell you this: it ain't gonna be any good either way, and I will tell you this, brother. Like they said, and Sean James said, you can sit on the couch if you want to, because Jamie Raskin already told you right there in that Senate meeting. even if he wins, we ain't certifying the votes. He said prepare for civil war like conditions. So that's what Jamie Raskin of Maryland said. So I just, I mean, they kind of like
it's bad for us already. Whatever happens can be worse. But Judge Joe Brown has even said, he's made it clear. I'm just talking about Judge. He is going to vote Trump because he says there's a lot at stake here. The Democrats are the ones pushing this sissification and pussification across this country.
They are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh damn! That laughing hyena. Oh damn it, Dana.
Yeah, she wasn't laughing when she told them people she told that guy I'm speaking now. So she can turn up sometime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, she's at a rally and she's clapping back at people. So yeah.
But yeah, man, like I said, brother, I'm just glad that I told you the other night I missed you. I was gonna come on tonight, so I want you to take your time, do your thing, keep on putting out the good information. I know you should be on Sunday. If I'm around Sunday, I'm gonna tune in. I didn't know what happened to the video the other night neither, because I didn't know about the copyright strike. But thanks for letting me know, because I'm glad you appealed it. So with that being said, take your time and be blessed, brother.
Yeah. Same here, brother. Be one, be safe, and be blessed to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Please support our brother. Thank y'all for tuning in. I think 2020 was something, but in 2016 I thought was a shocker. 2024, who knows what's in store for us, because either way we're gonna get blamed for something. We always are. But be strong, black men. That's my message for you today. All right. Well, be one, be safe, and be blessed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna get up out of here and we're gonna move on. All right. Love y'all. Be one, be safe, be blessed. Shout out to Brother Bernard. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Drop something in the Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal if you'd like me for my time, pay me for my time. Ladies and gentlemen, shout out. I reach out to the brother TD Hip Hop and a few others so we can actually do a collab, because we great minds think alike. That might be my next goal. All right. All right, y'all. Be one, be safe, and be blessed. Thank you. Shout out to everybody. Good night, Tanisha.